Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today I'm going to be bringing to you a TVP on Metalopolis. Spawning here in the left side of the map as the Red Terran, we have Team Liquid's TLO. Spawning on the right side of the map as the Purple Protoss, we have AiHonor. Now, this is the first game in a best of 3. I'm actually going to be casting the entire series. This was a set of matches played in the WCG Qualifier. So the winner of this match will be qualified to compete in the WCG. That is the World Cyber Games Tournament. I believe it's held in Germany. I can't be 100% sure about that, but I believe that is where the tournament is held. Notice I am right now playing it on faster. Yes, I'm aware of that. That is not a mistake. This replay is just slightly over 15 minutes, so I'm going to speed it up just a little bit to try to get through the beginning of this match and to try to keep this to just one video. Both players now scouting in the base of TLO. We can see that he has thrown down a barracks followed by a refinery. That indicates to me that we are going to be seeing a fairly fast factory here. And might see some early Hellion play here from TLO. Both players just now scouting their opponents. They have just now seen that they are spawned cross positions right now. And Honor right now just scouted the gas for TLO. Likewise, TLO has scouted the gas for AiHonor. So both of these players know that that the other is going for a little bit more tech-oriented of a route. Just because that gas is up and they are not going to have to deal with any kind of early aggression. If you notice, this is not MLG Metalopolis. There is no holy crap, I can't remember what it's called. Supply depot. Yes, neutral supply depot at the bottom of the ramp for either of these players. So early aggression with cannons or bunkers is possible, but as I said, as both players have managed to scout, there is no gas for either player. They don't have too much to worry about at this point in time about that kind of an early aggression. TLO being very smart here, checking all around, checking to be sure that there are no Stargates. He did scout that there were 2 gas, so one potential danger for Terran players is Void Rays. This early in the game, it is starting to get increasingly common for Protoss players to go for a proxy Stargate and get a Void Ray at the front of the ramp, and this can be very, very deadly, especially when those Terran players wall off at their front. A well-placed Void Ray here with some gateway units supporting them can start charging up on a supply depot or barracks at the front, and if ever these Marines decided to move out to try to pick off that Void Ray, there will be sentries and zealots at the bottom of the ramp to deal with them. So that's always a very valid concern for TLO at this point in the game, so being very, very smart, checking for any potential proxy Stargates. Now we do see one Hellion moving across the map here for TLO. It is now moving in, trying to see if it can't, and yes, it does actually manage to pick off one probe. Nice force field goes down for AiHonor to prevent that Hellion from getting up into his base. In the meantime, there's actually still an SCV in the base for Honor. He did pick it off. TLO did manage to see a little bit more of his tech though, did manage to see the 2 gateways, saw that the Cybernetics Core was researching that warp gate technology. And with that Hellion, he of course saw that this Nexus did go down, so TLO knows exactly what Honor is doing at this point in time. AiHonor trying to bring a probe around the map, trying to scout what's going on, trying to see if TLO is planning on expanding. We can see that TLO has thrown down this command center, so he is going to be expanding shortly, but in terms of tech, we see that he has now gone for 3 barracks. He's building a reactor on his factory, which I'm sure he's going to be shortly swapping with this starport, so it looks like he's going to be going for some drop play. TLO, very, very well known for being very flexible in his style of play. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go heavy Marauder. Saw in a very recent game with TLO, I think it was TLO versus Grubby. Did I do TLO versus Grubby? I'm pretty sure I did TLO versus Grubby. Did I say TLO versus Grubby too many times in that sentence? Not sure if I did. If I did, I think it was TLO that went for that heavy Marauder style of play, which can be very, very strong against those Protoss players. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go for that in this game, but we now see that 3 Hellions are moving across the map. They do manage to pick off 1 probe, but there are a lot of Stalkers here actually for Honor. He's going to be able to hold off these Hellions just fine. These aren't going to be too much of a worry. Nice unit placement here for AiHonor. He's placing his Stalkers here to block off this movement path over here, forcing the Hellions to have to come in this way, which means that if the Hellions choose to come in this way, all his units he can just move a couple of Stalkers over to this position and have those Hellions completely trapped in. TLO very smartly pulls back. TLO has now got an expansion of his own up and running. He's thrown down a bunker, and yes indeed we have seen that this starport has now been switched onto this reactor. On the production tab we can see that Stim is just now finishing, concussive shells also on the way, and each of these barracks right now has a tech lab on it. Wouldn't be surprised to see another tech lab here thrown down for TLO, as he's most likely going to be going for that heavy Marauder style of play. And yes, there we actually have that tech lab now being thrown down, so we are going to be seeing that heavy Marauder style of play from TLO. As I said, we saw this in a previous game, where TLO basically uses this Marauder composition against early game Protoss, which is very strong, just because Protoss tend to go for very heavy gateway unit compositions. And yes, just as that one medevac finishes, we can see that TLO is now moving out. What does AiHonor have to hold this off right now? He only has a few Stalkers, he has a couple of sentries with a lot of energy, but he's going to need to start warping in a lot of units here if he's going to be able to deal with this much of a push. He does have an observer here in position. He does scout these Hellions are moving in, and he has another observer actually on the other side of the map. Nice observer placement there from Honor, able to scout both of these forces moving out for TLO, so it looks like he's going to be getting prepared for this attack force now coming in, but this is still looking like a very scary attack force for Honor to have to deal with. The forces of TLO just now stimming, now moving in. Nice force fields there going down for Honor, taking advantage of the fact that these, I can't remember anything today. Stalkers, that these Stalkers have just slightly longer range than those Marines, and so he's able to cut out a lot of the damage by simply just placing those force fields and then pulling his Stalkers back so his force fields can be shooting the opposing units, but not taking any damage of their own, at least from those Marines. Those Marauders do have an equal range of 6, and Honor pulling his probes now to defend against this attack, and it looks like he just pulled them for just a little bit to just absorb a few hits to try to get a little bit of an advantage. Wow, nice micro there from TLO. TLO manages to pick up the very low health Marauders, pulls them back so that his Marauders with more health can take the damage from these Stalkers. More probes being pulled off the line for Honor, trying to take some of the damage from these Marauders, but it looks like Honor has actually managed to hold off this attack. Nice hold there for Honor. If we check out the workers kill tab though, we can see that TLO was able to take out 8 workers of AiHonor's in that exchange. Checking out the Harvester tab right now, we can see that TLO is actually up in Harvesters, 50 to 45 Harvesters. This is actually going to mean that he's quite a bit ahead because he also has these Mules, which are able to get him quite ahead in the Econ game. And we can see that TLO, feeling pretty confident about that attack, has now thrown down his command center and is going to be expanding to his third very shortly. Extended Thermal Lance now on the way for Honor. Looks like he's going to be going for that robo style of play. Nice scan there by TLO, able to see the robotics bay as well as the robotics facility. He's going to know now that Honor is going to be going for Colossus, and yes indeed we see now that he has started to produce Vikings, and this is going to be able to deal very well with those Colossi. TLO is going to have to be very careful with how many Vikings he makes, because too many Vikings and it'll start to cut into your Marauder production, and he won't be able to do so well against those gateway units. He needs to be able to deal a lot of damage to these Stalkers. But he wants to make enough Vikings that they're not just going to completely collapse to those Stalkers and are able to survive long enough to take out those Colossi from Honor. Back in the base of TLO, we can see that there is quite a high barracks count right now. We can actually see that there are 5 barracks up right now. 2 more barracks have just been thrown down with tech labs now being added on. TLO is now expanding to his third, and in the base of Honor, looks like we are getting more gateways going down right now. Blink is being researched on that Twilight Council, and looks like we have a big drop here coming in from TLO. All the forces of Honor right now are currently at the natural though, and he's not going to be able to react very quickly to this drop here from TLO, and that is a lot of Marauders, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be able to deal a lot of damage, sniping the Twilight Council. Oh no, is he going to lose the Blink research? Yes, he loses the Blink research, and now he's focusing the robotics bay. All the tech structures of AiHonor are going to go down here, and we now see that Honor is now going to be targeting these pylons, trying to make it easier for future drops there in that little area. And wow, in the meantime, there's another attack actually going on at the third base for Honor, and it looks like TLO going for some double-pronged attacks here that are doing very well, forcing Honor to split up his units into multiple groups, that is definitely not the way you want to be with a Protoss army. A Protoss army is strongest when it is all clumped together, and when they're forced to split up like that, they're really just not nearly as effective. So TLO doing some very, very nice, smart play here, and it looks like he's going to be just pulling back, healing up his Marauders before he goes for another drop. He does actually have sight up onto this high ground now because of these medevacs. Honor trying to do as much damage as he can from the high ground, but these Marauders do have that +1 attack upgrade, and they are able to do so much damage to the unupgraded units of Honor. Honor needs to be very, very careful that he only takes shield damage as long as he's over that ledge, and he knows that he has at least the upper ground in that engagement. Another attack moving in though for TLO. A lot of Vikings here are going to be able to snipe off that Colossus very quick, and the Colossus is just about to go down. In the meantime, we have a drop going down in the main of AiHonor, and this drop is doing so much damage while these Marauders are doing so much damage to this third. Probes being pulled off the line for AiHonor. So many workers going down again with the relentless drops. More drops coming in. The forces of Honor all pulling back to come and defend this third. More units are being taken out for TLO, and in the meantime, another drop is going down in the main, and so much damage is being dealt to these forces of Honor right now. So much damage is going down right now. The Vikings are about to fall, but no more Colossi are up. Honor cannot produce any more Colossi, which he really, really needs to do if he's going to want to be able to deal with all of these Marauders. But man, with the heavy Viking count that was there for TLO, it was just not going to be a possibility, as well as the fact that, well, he just doesn't have that robotics facility. Twilight Council has been remade, is researching Blink, but man, Honor has been just suffering so much damage, unable to do anything offensive at all this whole game. We can see that reflected in the food count. Currently, the food count is 133 to 95. TLO in a very, very good position, fully saturated now on his third base. Ghost Academy, researching Cloak on the way right now, and on the production tab, we don't actually see any ghosts yet out for Honor. If we check out the units tab, yeah, we can see that there are actually no ghosts on the field yet, but it looks like we are going to be able to see some ghosts coming into play here very soon. Templar Archives now coming up for Honor. I think that this is a very smart move considering the heavy Marauder count from his opponent. He's also saw those Vikings. He can guess. He's guessing right now, and he's betting on the fact that TLO is going to be making a lot more Vikings to try to deal with his Colossi, but this is just not the case. He's continuing to actually just produce ghosts. We now see ghosts on the production tab, and he's continuing to produce a lot of Marauders, so these High Templar are actually going to do quite well here, assuming that he can get them out, because the pylons are falling, and all these warp gates are becoming unpowered. This is going to cut into the production so badly of Honor, and yes, the last pylon falls, and this means that all of these buildings are going to be unpowered. In the meantime, forces moving into the natural and third expansion for Honor, splitting up the forces of Honor even more. I think I messed that up earlier. The forces of TLO are moving into the natural and third expansion of Honor, and they are doing a lot of damage. Another stim goes down for TLO. I cannot talk today, but these forces are being able to deal so much damage, and it looks like TLO is going to be going for another drop. He's being absolutely relentless with these drops. 180 food now to 122. More unpowered warp gates for Honor means that he's just not able to keep up with unit production right now. We can see that he's struggling right now just to keep up with unit production, and the pylons fall again. This not only cut off power to these warp gates, it also supply blocked Honor very shortly there, so Honor just not in a very good position. Loading up into the medevac, TLO is now just going to drop into the main of Honor, and he's now dealing a lot of damage to these gateways. More gateways going down. So much production is being lost right now for Honor. Honor is just in a terrible spot. TLO just now maxing at that 197 food count. He's losing a little bit of units here, but I don't think there's going to be much for Honor to do. I do not see him coming back in this game. TLO now moving up with a large force. Ghosts in the mix this time. These ghosts have a lot of energy, going to be able to use a lot of good EMPs, and the forces of Honor caught on the ramp. All the EMPs go down. All the sentries instantly lose all their energy and shields, and that is going to do it for Honor. Honor is not going to be able to do anything against that. The expansion is going to fall for Honor, and I think that Honor is going to be forced to GG here. Yes, and he does, and that means TLO takes game 1, and that we are going into game 2 right now.